If at any time you have a question, feel free to put in the chat bar. We will address it as we are going over the different topics. So settle in, buckle up, we're gonna have some fun. So like I said, I am a social studies curriculum specialist for socialstudies.com, and you're here to learn more about Active Classroom. So before we launch in, we do want to hear some feedback from you. We're going to put up a poll, and I'd like you to participate, and that can kind of guide our discussions for today. I'd like to hear a little bit about what your challenges are with what you're teaching with now, resource-wise. What are your challenges with what you have now to teach with?
Or even just what you're teaching with. So if you could just choose what you're teaching with now from the selections up there. Oh, it looks like, Elisa, it looks like everyone voted. That was quick.
Excellent.
I'm going to close the poll and share the results.
What do we have?
100% searching for their own stuff, it looks like.
Wow. Okay.
And a smattering of other stuff.
All right. So as you have challenges looking for things like that, it takes a lot of time. We have only set amounts of time for our prep period, and then we're grading. If we have some personalized challenges, I would love to see them in the chat bar. If you can take a quick second and write in the chat bar some issues you have, trying to find things on your own. If you're looking for certain kinds of resources, specific pieces of different resources that you're really kind of looking for, that would really be nice to see, and we can probably address those in this presentation. So if you want to take a second and add that to the chat bar.
Plus, I see people answering the poll on where they're getting their resources.
Oh,
it looks like
great.
About 67% have voted. A couple people are still out there waiting to vote. I'm of the beg, borrow, or steal from other teachers camp of getting cool lessons, but we'll see where everybody else is. It looks like they've all voted. I'm going to close this and share this poll, Elisa.
Excellent.
Wow, purchase their own.
Oh,
wow.
dear.
Or off the internet. So you were asking them why this poses a challenge. If you guys want to, put any notes in the chat bar of, where you get these resources and how you're getting a hold of them and what challenges that pose for you, we'd be happy to hear it.
While you are thinking about some of those and entering, we are going to launch in to Active Classroom, because that's why you guys came today, to learn a little bit more about this resource. Active Classroom is a digital platform with thousands of student-centered, inquiry-based activities. So I want you to kind of visualize that all of the social studies trade books that are kind of around your school, or things you've accumulated over the years, or perhaps those items you begged, steal, or borrowed from your colleagues, or perhaps everything you've seen on the internet was up on a bookshelf, and you took all of those things off the bookshelf and you digitized them and put them into a platform to serve as a digital library. That would be Active Classroom, filled with over 4,000 different lessons to choose from. So a wonderful thing about that is we have many kids in our classes, and we teach a lot of different subjects and a lot of different sections, and it is a big challenge right now in education to be able to address needs of all these different learners. And Active Classroom, with so many different kinds of assignments, is really a great tool to be able to find something for everybody and give them a chance to succeed. That's Active Classroom. So we have inquiry-based activities that help students construct deep understandings, thousands of lessons from publishers that teachers know and respect, easy to differentiate for ability level and learning style, and I think we had a couple comments that that's definitely a pain point for a lot of us. That is one of our big pieces of due diligence as educators, is we need to make sure we're challenging students and supporting them where they are. And when you have 30+ kids in a class, it's very, very difficult and a huge stress, especially when you're creating those things from scratch. So we are here to help. Also, we have the options for blended hands-on print and digital learning types. So this is flexible, and it is here to address digital initiatives that you may have and different kinds of technology situations you have school to school within a district. As I mentioned before, that topic of differentiation, inside of Active Classroom, you will have activities for every learning style so every student can succeed. So as you go through and look at these icons, you'll see these mirrored again in a quick demo I'm going to do in a moment. But we have different offerings for the different social studies subjects within web-based activities, decision making, reading, video analysis, simulation, image analysis, audio, PowerPoint, historical maps, mapping, and study skills. So I know many of you may be familiar with, I know some of you are customers of ours that use our atlases of world history and our geography atlases and atlases of United States history. We have many lessons from that digitized inside Active Classroom as we are with you, and that it's very important to place history within a geographical context. And so we're going to look at some of these as well. And if you look at all these together, this really lends itself to 21st century learning for students. We want our students to be well-rounded. And I think there is a misconception with digital learning. Sometimes it's just a student and device. And you can see, you know, when you're teaching grades 5 through 12, which is where this program is geared towards, these students need to be up and moving around and speaking and listening to each other. And so we are looking for well-rounded social studies education here. So without further ado, I'm going to launch into the program and show you a little bit of Active Classroom. So I'm going to just wait a second and get a little bit of feedback to make sure we are all together before I move forward on this journey. Can we all see my login page or the home page? Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Fantastic. So once you've logged on, I want to give you a heads up. I am not going to show you anything that you won't be able to have access to yourself in a So you'll see what you will see, what I'm going to walk you through, you will all have access to at the end when you sign up for a free trial. I just want to pick some pieces out that will really help you understand what the program has to offer for you. So the first thing I want to do is show you kind of some things that we have to offer. So I'm going to search for some activities and search for some of the content. There's different ways that you can search through Active Classroom. I think what many of you, might have mentioned, we did get some comments a little bit about how many lessons that there were, and it's a great thing. And we want to be able to really fine-tune that search to get you what you need for your planning and for your specific class. So you can search according to state standard. I know a lot of our instruction is driven by standards that we need to address. Before I mentioned, the program is really geared towards grades 5 through 12. So you can search according to grade. You can search according to standard type. That can help you pull and yield results that are going to meet certain needs. You can also search according to certain subjects that you're teaching. If you have different preps, some of you are going to reside in the histories. If you teach middle school, you're going to be definitely in the histories as well as the government and geography sections and economics that are standards within high school or within middle school, that you want to address. So we're going to do a little example first. I'm going to type in progressivism. I get so nervous typing in front of people. I think there's just this phenomenon that happens when you type in front of people that you just have to misspell stuff.
You did great, Elisa. I misspelled it last time. You were awesome.
All right. I promise that I have an education, everybody. I can't do that. So if we scroll all the way down, bear with me, I don't mean to give you a headache, but this is going to yield us 2 pages of 20 results per page. So that's still quite a bit. So if you wanted to scale down, you can still advance your search. You can search according to subject again. We know that that's kind of a hardy topic for United States history. You can search according to era or theme if you wanted to break it down even more. You can search according to series title. These are all of the titles that are housed within Active Classroom. This may be, something that you get to as you become more familiar with the program and certain titles that may become your favorites. And then the last way you can search is according to activity type. So you'll remember these icons from a little bit earlier. This will come in handy when creating units and activity sets, which I'll talk about in 1 second, because this will allow you to diversify your units to make sure your students are getting a well-rounded unit and the ability to kind of grow and stretch their skills without reading everything, to be able to apply things in different ways and then better ensure you're not leaving students behind. So I have created actually an activity set for you, and we've just dragged and dropped into this file folder to create a pre-made activity set. So if I go to activity sets, you'll see the one I've created for the purposes of this presentation. And I've only put 4 in there, but this gives you an idea of how you can diversify Lexiles that are available for this specific topic. So I want to take a look at one lesson in particular to give you an idea of what we have to offer. I'm going to specifically show you a lesson that's in image analysis, and this comes from our title, Debating the Documents. Many of you, I know, probably have Debating the Documents. You have this print in your schools. Your principals have them, or your department chairs. And this is a very popular series that really hits the heart of image analysis skills. So I'm going to click into that so we can see what that looks like once we get into the assignment. Debating the Documents and our other image analysis image analysis lessons, they really help students interpret and make observations about primary and secondary sources. This is a critical skill for students in school, in the workforce, and as they grow into adulthood, and that's really the goal. We want that seamless transition from classroom to life. So this specific series, Debating the Documents, is going to begin with an introductory essay to really set the stage for the content and the time period, and the students will read that. The teacher could guide that reading. It's really, you know, up to the discretion of the teacher and what fits the needs of the class best. And then it's followed by a timeline, which is extremely helpful for students to put things in its historical place and really get a sense of causality. And then you launch into the visual primary sources. And here are the other sets of primary sources. You'll notice when you have your trial that we have image examiner tools, which are really great if you have interactive tools with your technology in your classroom, because you can, you know, be able to interact with the image. The quadrants are especially helpful for things like this, political cartoons, being able to have different kids assigned to different quadrants and really investigate what's going on, maybe zero in on some of these texts. And then after they look at the visual primary sources, answer questions, understanding each set, they're going to start comparing them and see which of them answer the question best, citing evidence from their visual analysis. And then they create a reflection. This, if you haven't guessed it already, is very indicative of a document-based question setup, something they'll see again in AP tests, and a lot of what our assessments are set up to mirror now with our summative assessments in a DBQ format. We want students to be able to find evidence, apply it, and then provide their evidence and reasoning. Something that's powerful about this specific series, it makes it very popular with teachers and users, is that we have this second piece. So if we look where my cursor is, I chose the documents because this is the piece that's kind of the moneymaker right here, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't choose these documents. However, a historian might use the documents in the following way. This really causes a student to pause and reflect. It addresses multiple perspectives about how else a different individual might have interpreted the documents, but it also causes them to defend why they choose what they choose. And oftentimes students may choose their answer if they don't feel they can substantiate this. So if you want to make a comment in the chat bar, I know that kind of blew me away because I've taught DBQs for many years and I never even considered that piece. So every lesson for Debating the Documents does have this feature, which is really great as students really formulate a DBQ. And then they launch into written primary sources. So they provide written and visual. So that gives you just one example of a lesson that's there. If you're doing this in any kind of classroom, you do have the option to print. So this looks pretty chunky. You can select all and print the whole entire lesson, or perhaps for, you know, the purposes of the lesson you're going to do, maybe you only need a select piece printed off for a specific student, or however you're going to unroll this assignment. You would select those and it would print off in PDF format that looks very much like the format you see here, which is always nice. The aesthetic is mirrored the same. So that gives you an idea of one specific lesson that's offered in Active Classroom. Do we have any questions so far about the Debating the Documents lesson before I go back to our presentation?
Everyone's unmuted, so if you want to ask any questions or comments so far, Elise is happy to field them.
I do want to go back for one. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say none for me. This is fine.
Yep. So far, so good.
So far, so
Okay,
good.
I'm going to mute everybody again so everybody can stay in their own little cocoon while we're going.
Yes.
Oops, Elisa, that means I should not mute you.
Oh.
So sorry. Say that. Say
Okay,
that again.
Rewind.
Rewind.
So when this is an interactive platform, so you do have the option to assign this to students that are uploaded into your classes. When you assign a lesson, you have the ability to group students within your class. And so this really comes back to the heart of this being a differentiation tool, that within a class you can create certain groups, and they can be, you know, distinguished any way that you want, by reading level, by, you know, whatever works for you. And when you have classes, even the smallest of classes, but classes certainly 30 and above, you are going to have kids that are going to just naturally kind of lump themselves by, you know, reading ability, comprehension ability. This is a great way to separate students into groups. You can dump out different assignments on the same content, perhaps different kinds of assignments, really more at their level, and nobody here is the wiser, but you're really individualizing instruction. So that is an option here. As well as you load your students, you have the opportunity to group them as well. I wanted to make sure that came across. That's a great option that's really taken advantage of by our users. Okay, friends, we're moving on. Some of these, when I scrolled through, it was quite fast, but some of the series titles that we have, you might have recognized. This is just a handful, a small sampling of what we have from publishers that teachers know and trust. I assume many of you will kind of know and have a little bit of familiarity with these. We have interactive tours of electronic field trips from Colonial Williamsburg that are just so well done, fantastic. They're age appropriate, they are relevant, they take historical content and they place it in kind of a format that's just really engaging and fun and funny for kids. So if you have a pen and paper, I would definitely write down Colonial Williamsburg, so when you have your trial to, you know, give that a glance through. And Story Path is another very popular title that we have that really links literacy and social studies together for a very active form of reading comprehension and civics education, where the kids really are up and moving and working with each other. So we talked about this being a flexible technology solution. If you're in an emerging technology classroom, Active Classroom offers you the ability to print, and even the selective print that I showed you. With one computer and a projection screen, you have a great presentation tool. Active Classroom allows you to show video clips, PowerPoints, and other multimedia resources. You can use those image analysis tools that I showed you, and you always have the option of assigning digital activities to students with computers at home or on their devices. If you are one-to-one or your process is moving one-to-one, you have a high-tech classroom environment. It can be used anywhere where there's internet access. You can meet your students' needs in the digital world where they live. You can set up discussion forums, which is growing increasingly more popular. You can grade with individual feedback. and you can customize your activities. This also addresses ELL standards, further lending itself to a differentiation tool to be able to provide successful opportunities for all of your different students. We offer different courses to hit all the social studies subjects: the U.S. history, world history, geography and global studies, government and civics, economics and personal finance, and also new, we rolled out sociology and psychology. Active Classroom certainly has something for everybody, grades 5 through 12. And for most of you who mentioned that you were looking for it through the internet to find things, we've really solved that problem for you here. You know, trying to eliminate that prep time, that searching time, and making sure it's been vetted. We are here for you there. So with so many thousands of lessons, there really is something for everybody. It is like a digital library that covers your standards and supplemental resources that you need. So I'm going to scroll through. You have your U.S. history right here. We're going to add on top of that our world history suite. They're building on the titles that we have. The geography and global studies suite. On top of that, the government and civics suite. Then the economics and personal finance suite. I want to ask a question if you want to utilize your chat bar. Did anybody come today looking for specific material to satisfy a particular subject that you teach?
Elisa, somebody said they're teaching a U.S. History 1 in high school, but it's U.S. History and Geography combined.
Okay. I think that you're going to find some really pleasing things within your trial. So I look forward to your feedback once you're able to explore the program.
World History for 6th grade.
Excellent, excellent.
Okay, anybody else, anything specific they were looking for? We might be able to confirm that we've got it and make sure you know you could find it if you take a look at the free trial. Oh, this is an interesting one. So 9th grade is all electives, 1 semester electives. Geography is 1, sociology is 1. Not sure which one I'm teaching yet. So a 1 semester 9th grade elective. Boy, Active Classroom would be great for that, don't you think, Elisa?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And another great thing about that is oftentimes you're going to be teaching something and you're collaborating with a teacher that taught it the year before, or will teach it the next semester. And this is a great way to really provide a sense of continuity for the students and for the staff that are familiar with the program, and be able to collaborate on what worked well, and you know what the students enjoyed, and you know, be able to collaborate more by using the same program, different subject areas.
Elisa, we have another one who said he's looking for government and economics, which I'm guessing, oh, he says 11th grade, I think. So that's common, right, to teach 1 semester of government and civics and 1 semester of economics. The content would cover them both really well, don't you think, Elisa? I think that, in fact, you'd have more content even than you needed, so you could really mix it up to keep students engaged in both. So, and go ahead, Elisa.
Well, I was going to say, my friend that said he or she is going to be teaching economics, I'm assuming, you know, upperclassmen elective, I really want you to take a look at personal finance and basic money management. So if when you access your trial, take a look at those two, because I think you're just going to be very pleased. Those are very well liked and really resonate well with that age group, and hit standards that are really kind of a necessity now. And as economics is becoming more and more important at this age level, and especially in middle school, I think that having a fun, interactive way and a fresh way to look at those content pieces is really key. And so I hope that you would take a little bit of time and look at personal finance and basic money management.
One thing I really like for high school too is if anybody has athletes in their class, you know, where you have, if you're teaching 5th period or 6th period and you have a lot of students who are out for sports, Active Classroom enables you to make those assignments online. And you could assign even a reading, and a student could be, you know, on the bus on the way back from their baseball game, and they could literally be reading the assignment. So I know that sounds like a minor thing, but if you have a lot of athletes in the afternoon period, they can stay caught up. The same as if a student is out for whatever reason, you can keep assigning, keep talking to them, keep commenting on their work, which is a huge help. So, Elisa, I'm going to let you finish, and then I'm going to open the floor to questions.
Excellent. So with those thousands of lessons, I think that being able to personalize and really customize this program to fit your needs is really of the utmost importance, and this is why we offer custom curriculum mapping. So we would take your scope and sequence, lay it against the content in Active Classroom, and extract a customized curriculum map for you. You can search outside of the curriculum map, but it provides a great guide, great pacing, and really, really nice direction when you're using this program and when you're using it together as a team. Whether it's just you or whether you're working across middle school teams or across high schools like we mentioned before, this is very helpful. It's personalized for you. It takes out, you know, a lot of that prep time, and, you know, we spend a lot of time really making sure that this is going to fit the needs of your students and get really diversified lessons. In your trials, you'll be able to see samples of this. And you can still search outside of your curriculum map, but this does provide a great roadmap for you.
It's great if you're used to using, you know, one resource all the time, that it's easier to follow, because you can follow it almost like the chapters in a textbook, like the topics. Like if you don't use your textbook at all, but like for a doorstop, but you follow the topics in the table of contents, the curriculum map will give you that table of contents structure, but then it will give you a really beautifully curated collection of activities, exactly to the content you're teaching.
We also offer professional learning, so we won't leave you out there. If this is a program that suits you and you like it, we are committed to, you know, making sure you can roll this out and enjoy it, and that it really helps you do what you need to do. And so we offer blended learning approach to combine face-to-face learning with online learning. We support you with professional learning for the real world, keeping mandatory meeting times to a minimum. We also offer universal support. Every Active Classroom user receives access to our online user guides with video tutorials. They have those for students as well that are very helpful. Self-paced online courses covering all these areas, and of course, our customer service team and local curriculum specialists like me are always standing by to assist with any questions. Premium support that we offer these selections right here, certainly on-site workshops, the customized curriculum mapping, and online courses available for graduate credit.
Elisa, can I add, the online courses are awesome if you want to take a course during the summer. Some are very social studies content specific, but some are more just professional growth or professional learning, including ones like the highly engaged classroom, the differentiation in the brain, that, you know, really go to teaching practices, to enhancing teaching practices. And all those online courses, when you have a subscription to Active Classroom, all these online courses are free. That graduate credit isn't. You might have to pay a little for the graduate credit, but the actual course, you can take all these courses for free.
So at this time, what I'd like to do is take some questions, and we're also going to put up, we've mentioned several times this elusive 30-day trial. If you're joining, there's many of you that are joining today, you need to sign up for this trial, and I really hope that this has been able to help you maximize the trial, but all of your curriculum specialists, wherever you're joining us from today, they are on standby to help you really maximize your trial. Get in there, dig around, look at the content, try out some activities with your students, and they will be there to offer you more tours if you would like to, you know, go back through and really look at how this program works, how you can submit assignments, how the grade book works, how you can use our text-to-speech tools. So once you click on that link, you'll fill out the information, you'll be on the road. So make sure you're copy and pasting your link right now. Make sure you get that information, because we really want you to be able to look at this and try it out, and we would love your feedback.
Yeah, I put the free trial link is in the chat bar right now, so I hope everybody saw it. Cut it and paste it into your browser right now. Go sign. You just need to give us your email, and we'll get you hooked up. We'd love for you to try it and dig into it. And before we close up, we want to open the floor. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. We're going to give a second or type them in the chat bar. Let's make sure everybody's unmuted. So, oh, we have to unmute them. Okay, you're unmuted. So if you have a question or want to ask anything, feel free to ask. If not, we'll stick around for a while, and we will answer the questions in the chat bar for as long as we need to. We hope you grabbed your free trial. And Elisa, I just want to say, one person put in the chat bar, and I love the honesty, was here to rate the program and decide if it was worth recommending to other people in the district. So we hope we got 5 stars, not us personally, but we love the honesty, because bottom line is, if you're pulling a ton of resources, which a couple people said at the beginning, and you're using all that time to pull things together, Active Classroom, everything's vetted. The lessons have been tested with students. They come from safe, reliable sources. So you don't have to, 1, spend so much time pulling stuff, and 2, worry about the content of the lesson, that if you accidentally link to something that wasn't vetted, or the efficacy, because you know these lessons have been tested with students, you know, from reputable places, and you know that they've been successful at students learning. So it gives you that as well. We have another question. Elisa, is the site continually updated?
We are adding, we do add series titles to the platform, and if there is certain topics that you would like to see addressed, we can certainly be on the lookout for certain things. And we do have updates to the site. If you are involved in single sign-on or rostering, we do, you know, continually refresh night after night if students are uploaded and skip. If they're switched to different classes, that will update at night. But we are, you know, we're working for maximum efficiency to really provide the best possible resource for our customers. So it is, we are working with it to make sure that you have what you need, but we are adding series as they come a couple times a year. You will see an email that will have the new series there and give you some information.
Yeah, and there's actually
David, did I answer your question, David? I'm sorry.
Uh-oh, did I mute David? And he can't
No, I did, because my dog was going crazy. Not just updates with new stuff as far as like new series, but do you continually update the stuff you already have? Like, do you throw new government lessons on the website as you come across stuff that works, or is this kind of, once government's kind of figured out, then that stays the way it is?
No, I would say the former. I think what Elisa was saying is the former. So we aren't searching the internet like for open source free stuff. This is all materials that, you know, copyrighted materials, tried and true places, you know, publishers, you know.
Okay.
And but we're constantly looking for content. And I have to say, a big bulk of that is driven by the feedback we get. So if we get a lot of questions about, listen, you know, we don't have enough age-appropriate, reading level-appropriate stuff for 6th grade world history, we're out hunting, and we're buying that content and then placing it in Active Classroom. Or we have our own writing teams, and we're writing content and put it in there. And so it's always the best quality lessons. They've been vetted, researched, we've checked the efficacy, and then we put them in there. And like Elisa said, it's about twice a year. I'll be totally honest with you. Our team used to do it constantly, and we actually asked them if they could instead upload new stuff only twice a year so that we could let everybody know that it's coming. So I think that the situation will be flipped. We'll probably provide more new content than you need. That's kind of been our situation. We're pushing out more content than we hope to anticipate your need, but if not, we want you to tell us. So it's always being added. New content is always being added several times a year.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, Lisa, I think we might have exhausted most of the questions. I'm going to paste the free trial link one more time in that chat bar to make sure you've got it. If you are, reviewing this because for your department or as the one person in your district to take a look and then decide whether other people should look, feel free to pass that link to them, and we'll get you set up. It will ask you to put in your email, first name, last name. The reason is we're going to put you in a trial that we make sure has your state correlations and everything. So we want it as specific to your situation as we can get it. So feel free to pass that link around. This webinar will be posted on our website. And again, easy to remember, we're socialstudies.com. So we are the home for hopefully anything you could need for social studies, K-12, supplemental as well as core programs, digital programs, hands-on is also kind of our specialty. And we're the new home of Nystrom Education. So socialstudies.com. Thanks you guys so much for joining us. You were an awesome audience. We really, really appreciate you participating, and we hope you have a great rest of Tuesday. Thanks again, Elisa, for being our presenter. We really appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks, everybody. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.